Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter of one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to them live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you're looking for a way to support me, that's on my Patreon. This morning we are doing chapter 32 of A Familiar Death. Marlot eased the car into a parking spot in front of the medical clinic as Jessica unlocked it. The Frog's car was the only other in the lot. Trembor looked around. People were opening their shop along the road, and one of the public parking lot already had more than a dozen cars. When he and Marlot entered, Jessica was behind the reception counter. Trembor couldn't hear anyone else. Shouldn't your receptionist have been here before you? She's running late, the Frog answered, starting the computer. Marlot took another look outside. Is that normal? For her to be late? No, of course not. He looked from one to the other. Her son's sick this morning, she called before I left home. And you still came alone? The wolf asked. You need to be more careful. It'd be easy for a predator to sit in a car in the lot across the road and study your schedule. Not to mention one who just happens to walk by while hungry. The Frog gave them an incredulous look. He raised a red hand for them to see. I'm bright red. Even the most ignorant of predator knows that means I'm poisonous. Not to mention I'm wearing my clinic frock the moment I go out of the house. I'm off limit. Not until you start working, Trevor said. It's still 9 paces from the car to the door. Any good predator can get you in that distance. I swear, you two are sounding like my mate. I'm fine. I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still around. Never even been attacked once. He unlocked the door at the back of the room and disappeared down the hall. How is your mate? Trevor called after him, although what he wanted to do was point out that just because he hadn't been attacked in 20 years didn't mean it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be tomorrow. It wouldn't happen tomorrow. She's well, the Frog answered from further in, a little irritable. Her parents are after us to have young ones. They don't understand neither of us is interested. We're too busy with our career. He came back holding 2 boxes. One was the freezer box they'd brought. The other one was half the size. I didn't know if you wanted the fetus back, so I repacked it. He indicated the smaller box. Interesting. I forgot. The samples are in there. I've already labeled and coded them with what the lab needs to know for the test. They'll do a DNA species analysis, a genetic health markup, and an ancestral map. There's no guarantee any of that will help, but those are the kind of tests that can link a parent to a cub. Can you hang on to the remains? Arnold asked. I doubt we'll need them, but I'd like to be safe. Jessica nodded. I'll just plug in the box so it doesn't run out of power. He tapped the top of it. Out of curiosity, are you making a specialty of crossbreed cases? No. Why? Otto answered. You had one a few months ago. Now this. His wolf snorted. I'm not on this case willingly. Doesn't change the fact that you ended up with it. Mallow shrugged. Trembor picked up the smaller box. Thanks for preparing these. The Frog smiled. That's what you pay me for. The jaguar behind the counter looked up at them as the door closed. Welcome to Arcego Biological, he said. How can I help you? R.I. Blackclaw in Golden Mane, Marlot replied. I called earlier to get tests done. He handed the box with the samples. I need this expedited. The jaguar opened the box and looks at the content. I'll process them, add them to the queue, and someone will contact you when we have the result. That isn't going to work. I need the result as fast as possible. I understand that, sir, the receptionist said, in a voice that indicated it wasn't the first time he'd heard that. But I can't put you ahead of the others simply because you urgently need them. Everyone else also needs them urgently. Malot smiled. Then how about you do it because you lost the result of the last time they were done? What do you mean? I mean, this is the second time these tests needs to be done. I called a few days ago to get them, and your system had lost them. I spoke to a gazelle. I think she was in your legal department. She was supposed to have someone look into it, but I never heard back. So now I'm here to get the test redone. The jaguar closed the box and picked up his pad. Can you? I'll just be a moment. I need to get someone who knows what's going on. He stepped away and spoke quietly in his pad. A few seconds later, a female deer called to them. Investor Goldenmane, Blacklaw? I'm Glazio Flathoof. We spoke before. Trembor nodded. I remember. I'm Trembor Goldenmane. This is my partner, Marlot Blacklaw. Yes, I recognize your voice. She nodded to Marlot. You are the one who called and you joined in the conversation afterward. She turned to the jaguar. Had him see to it these samples. See to it. Yeah. See to it these samples are put at the top of the list. She led them through a door to a small office. Before you lodge a complaint about the company, she sat behind her desk and indicated the other chairs. You should know that it wasn't a system malfunction that destroyed the result. Our servers were hacked and the information erased by an outside person. Do you know who it was? Trembor asked. Marlot cursed under his breath and took out his pad. Glazio watched Marlot as she answered, No, we're not equipped for that. We told the enforcers and they are handling it. Really? Why are you highlighting this? Were? Marlot snorted. Afirna, glad I caught you. Oh, that is so funny. The female on the other end of the call said dryly. Sorry, bad choice of word. Afirna was a raccoon and lived in the constant worry of being someone's meal. The enforcers got a complaint about a hack recently. Can you take over it? I'm in a bit of a hurry. You and every predator out there, she chuckled. I'm going to need more information. There are stacks of them, and 3 came in just while we were talking. 3 in a second? What's going? Never mind. It came from Arcego Biological. He heard the clicking of claws on a keyboard. Then she chuckled again. You need to adjust your processor clock. That wasn't recent. It came in yesterday. Marlot opened his muzzle to point out that was recent, but shut it off. There was nothing to be gained in arguing with her over word definition. Can you look into it? Sure. Let me file the request. Give me a couple of hours. Thanks. One of your techie friends? The lion asked after Marlot put his pad away. Marlot looked up, realizing they were still there. Afirna, she consulted with the enforcers on digital crimes. The deer looked at him skeptically. And they'll simply let her work on it ahead of everything else? Marlot nodded. Unless someone's already working on it, then she'll have to negotiate a case transfer. How long until you get the result of the test? Trembor asked Glazio. She consulted her screen. They've already been sent to the lab itself, so it shouldn't take more than a few hours. Marlot sighed. More waiting. Trembor took out his pad and stood. I'm sending you my number. When it's ready, can you call either one of us? She nodded. I'll contact you as soon as the results are in. Trembor patted Marlot's shoulder. Come on, Mr. Impatient Hunter. Let's get out of here so Miss Flathoof can get back to work. Marlot's ears folded back. I'm not impatient, he said, following his lion, and this isn't the same as a hunt. Outside, his lion embraced him. Come on, isn't that bad. You can't see it, but stuff is happening, and it's tech stuff. You should be happy. So you should be happy. Marlot gave him a wry smile. That isn't how this works. It's when I do tech stuff that I'm happy. Do you want to drop by your friends and watch her work? Maybe you can help her. Her office is on the other side of the city, and having 2 predators there with her isn't going to help. She's a raccoon. What do you want to do? Your place is the closest. The lion smiled. Oh, yes. We need to anoint it now that we're mated, so which room should we do it in first? Marlot's ears burned. That wasn't what I was thinking of, and I'm not sure my side can handle it. Moving didn't cause him pain anymore, but it was still sore. Trembor leaned in and whispered, I think last night demonstrated I could be slow and gentle enough for you to do more than handle me. Marlot swallowed at the memory. I can feel you reacting, the lion teased. Marlot pushed him away, his face hot. Is sex the only thing on your mind? He tried to sound angry, but his breathlessness made that difficult. Trembor spread his arm. Hey, I'm freshly mated. It's traditional to celebrate by spending a week having hot and sweaty sex. How do you think my family got so large? Spad buzzed and he frowned. Speaking of which, he answered it. Hey, Dad, what's going on? Dad, slow down. What happened? Okay, we're on our way. He put his pad away, hurried to the car. What's wrong? Well, asked, running after him. I don't know. He couldn't get the words out, but he was near panic. But he's home. I got that. Marlot jumped in the car and drove off the moment his lion was inside. Trembor jumped out of the car and took 3 steps toward the house before his injured leg buckled under him. His wolf caught him. I'm fine, Trembor growled, then slow down. Trembor didn't. He limped as fast as he could, almost shouldered the door open. Dad! No answer. He ignored the pain, his leg, and ran for the living room. It dreaded what he'd find there. Would he be lying on the floor in his chair? Would he be in time to help? It couldn't be this hard. It couldn't be his heart. After the last time his father had been taking care of himself, but stress, he couldn't think of that. Living room was empty, and he felt some relief. Then fear reasserted itself. He might be in another room. He rushed to the dining room and froze on entering it. His mothers were seated at the far end of the table. Serene in his father's chair. He looked around the room. No sign of his father. His mother's expression were a mix of anger and sadness. Mom? Where's Dad? His voice trembled. He felt his wolf's hand and take his and held on to it. Arena shook her head. Oh, Trembor, how could you do this to him? Mom? What's going on? Where's Dad? Serene stood, her lips pulled in a snarl. Why don't you start by explaining that to us? She pointed to Marlot. He ignored her, keeping his eye on Arena. I told you, Serene began. Shut up, Mother. Trembor's fear made him snap. I don't know what your problem is, but I'm talking to my mom, not you. The lioness stiffened. Lyria, his third mother, looked away. Mom, Trevor pleaded, what happened to Dad? Arena looked at him, her eyes wet. Your father got a call this morning. I didn't get all of it, but some female was screaming at him about her son being corrupted. I don't think your father understood any more than I did. Then someone else spoke to him. A male, deep voice, angry but controlled. It was harder to hear him, but I heard mating contract. That's when your father grabbed his chest. Trembor's leg felt his leg tremble. If not for Marlot holding him, he'd have fallen. How did you think he would react? Lyria asked her. I could have meant the, but it's her word and breathing measured. Control. Finding out like he did? Trevor didn't understand. He heard the words, but the meaning wouldn't come. When Serene spoke, her anger shook him. How could you go and mate that? Tremor looked at her. When had she become this intolerant? She opened her muzzle to add more, but snickering came from a partly closed door to the kitchen. Tremor's fear was replaced by anger at whoever could find this situation funny. His family was falling apart, and he didn't understand how. Lyria let out a snicker. Arena covered her mouth. Serene growled. Torin, I wasn't done. The snickering in the kitchen exploded in full-out laughter. Tremor watched his father stumble through the door and lean against the wall. He was holding to his chest, but he wasn't in pain. He was laughing. His father was the one laughing. Tremor looked at his mothers. Even Serene couldn't hold on to her angry facade. You should see the look on your face, Torin said between gasps. What is going on? Were the only words Tremor could find to say, and he wasn't sure his parents heard them amidst the laughter. It was Marlot who answered him. I think this is their revenge on you for you getting mated without them. And this concludes chapter 32 of Familiar Death. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read the story, as well as the others in the series, they are available on all major e-retailer. If you want a different way to support me, that's on my Patreon, where you can also get access to just about everything I've written. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. The links are in the notes. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.